Well, the housing market got a bit of a jolt in July compared to 2023, but sales are down from last month. Buyers have started to maybe take advantage of lower monthly mortgage payments in addition to more choices in the market, but we're not out of the woods just yet. Let's break down some of these numbers with Toronto Regional Real Estate Board Chief Market Analyst Jason Mercer. So you look at this report now. What are some of your major takeaways here?
Well, I think the main thing, we've seen a couple of cuts on the part of the Bank of Canada, and at the same time, we're seeing, prices remain relatively low in comparison to what we saw, say, in 2021 and the first part of 2022. There's quite a bit of choice out there for buyers. So I think, as more and more households that were kind of sitting on the sidelines over the last couple of years start to realize that there's a bit more on the affordability front, we're going to start to see an acceleration in home sales as we move through the second half of 2024, but I think even more so as we get into 2025. And we're talking about, somewhere between 100 and 200 basis points in terms of cuts coming online over that period of time.
Yeah, so it seems like at this point, well, because it's not huge increases in sales, but there's a lot of property out there. Are buyers, potential buyers, playing chicken right now? The Bank of Canada's like, hey, we want to see you lower it again, but even more.
Yeah, if you think about some of the polling that we released earlier on this year from Ipsos, people are saying, look, we have every intention on purchasing a home over the next couple of years. But we need to see rates drop by, say, 100 or even 200 basis points before we're going to move back into the marketplace. Because while prices are down from the historic highs that we saw, say, 2 or 3 years ago, they're still fairly high, for the average household. And so seeing more relief on the interest rate front will get those monthly mortgage payments down, and you'll still have money left over for your other household needs.
Right. And how good is it, though? Because normally, from what I understand, the summer market's normally pretty slow, but we are seeing a bit of an uptake. Is that promising for people who are trying to purchase, or in the flip side, trying to sell and maybe downsize?
Yeah, year over year, if you compare July 2024 to July 2023, we saw a slight uptick in sales. I think more of the story, though, is looking at the listings front. And if you are looking to get into the market over the next 6 months to a year, you are going to benefit from that real increase in inventory we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, so should people who, let's say for a lot of people who might want to downsize, boomers out there who are living in their homes, try to sell, maybe hoping that that's part of their retirement, should they hold off on selling and maybe wait till 2025 when rates are lower?
Well, everyone's situation is different, right. but I think for sure, people are starting to take a closer and closer look at what the impact of these rate cuts are going to be. And it's a bit of a cascade. So, the sort of cohort of the population, or at least home buying population that's most sensitive to borrowing costs, are first-time buyers. And once they start sort of moving back into the market, either, say, out of their parents' home or out of their rental accommodation and into home ownership, that usually starts a cascade because they're going to look to buy maybe a condominium apartment or what have you, and other people are going to be moving up in the market. So there'd be more interest at the other end of the spectrum where you have a more aged household that's looking to sell their large home.
True. And so how's the condo markets looking as well? Is that mentioned in the report? Yeah,
we cover all the major home types in a report every month, and certainly the condominium apartment market, has been sensitive to borrowing costs because, again, it's a key entry point for first-time buyers into the marketplace. And so I think as you see the downward trend continue for borrowing costs, you're going to see more and more first-time buyers who are paying, relatively high rents right now on average start to say, look, I'm going to take a closer look at purchasing a home and starting to build equity in an investment.
I see. So in terms, what else can we learn from this report?
Well, I think, there's some positives in the sense that, as we start to see demand pick up with lower borrowing costs, initially, home buyers are going to benefit from more choice in the marketplace. And that's whether you're looking to buy a condominium apartment, maybe your first home, or whether you're looking to move around in the market and start to parlay, that equity that's built up over time into a different type of home.
All right. See how things go. It's going to be quite interesting. We'll see it's like a race with the Bank of Canada and all these buyers and sellers. We'll see what happens.
Thanks very much.